For me, we like to think of ourselves as, and I guess specifically Ben McCollum, as someone that cares deeply about the success of the people around him, specifically my players, and then obviously my family. I guess as a personal, who am I personally? It would be, it's basketball, and then it's my family and friends, and outside of that, I don't have a lot of things that we do. I'm very focused on those few things and trying to improve the lives of others. What motivates me I'm very, very competitive, number one. Number two, it would be trying to make a difference on other people's lives is what motivates me daily. And then I've always been motivated by being doubted as well. And so those three things are probably my main motivation, just in general. I had a buddy, so I went junior college, and I had a buddy that went here, my best friend in high school, and he loved it here. And so I had other Division IIs that were recruiting me at the time out of junior college, and I ended up I actually called them, and I said, hey, can I come down and try out? And he said, yeah, come on down. And so I was trying out, and they put me through these random drills, and I realized this was not a tryout for somebody that they actually wanted. This was a tryout for somebody that, you're just kind of doing it. And so about halfway through the drills, I'm like, okay. And so, but then we got a chance to play with the guys, and I played really well, and then they offered me a scholarship, and I ended up coming down here. I say this a lot just from a coaching perspective. One of the best is to be yourself, and that encompasses a lot of different things. And I got it from a guy named Brandon Schneider, who's now the women's coach at KU. He's at Emporia State, and he told me that as I was becoming the head coach at Northwest, whatever you do, make sure that you are yourself as a head coach. You can take bits and pieces from other people, but always go back to being you, and that adds the genuineness. And so often in leadership or in coaching, including myself, you forget you have to have that genuine piece. You can't act like somebody else and be somebody else. And so it took me a couple years to figure that out, and then eventually I've gotten comfortable with who I am. My first job was at a Hy-Vee, and I was stocking shelves, and I was absolutely atrocious at it. I remember my manager coming in and saying, I see you hustle on the basketball floor, but you're not giving the same hustle here. So I wasn't your all-star stocker but my parents did a good job of making sure that I had a job and still had that work ethic while not overdoing it.
Sure.
Oh, geez, that's a great one. It would have to be any probably DMX song, because I don't sing, and I'm a big fan of DMX. Just this is kind of my style, the intense music. So it would probably have to be something like that, or you could go with some. You could go there. You could go with some Garth Brooks, probably from the Double Live. That even add the crowd noise to it.
Okay.
Mike Krzyzewski, he was awesome. Jay Wright, those are a few ones that I would, probably mine would all go with that coaching deal, Bill Belichick, and let's just go with a Billy Donovan just to keep it safe. Let's just stay with those four. Those would be fantastic. Obviously, you could go way back, but I think you just open yourself up to things then.
Yeah.
Those four would be great. Oh, geez. There's a lot of them. Honestly, it's the edited version, and no one will like this because except for, my age of players, the edited version of Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill, because it's fantastic, but it has to be the edited version, obviously. So that would probably be what it is.
Right.
But I would probably go old school too. That would take me a while to think about. I'd have to really listen to songs and get it perfectly right.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, winning's probably not even close to the greatest joy. Obviously, that's what your job is to win games. But I think once your kids leave, the players leave, and you see that they don't need you anymore, they still want you and they still want to be around you, but they don't need you, meaning you've enabled them to be successful on their own, or their parents have, or whatever. That brings me a lot of joy. And you don't get a lot of feedback from that because they don't need you like they used to. But the joy that it brings just naturally from seeing them be successful, seeing them become great husbands, great fathers, great citizens, there's probably no greater joy than seeing that. You definitely have to have a fire starter, some type of fire starter that wouldn't go bad. You definitely have to have a machete to make sure that you could build a fort. And then you probably, specifically for me, I need something to catch fish. So whether that would be just really strong fishing line, I think I could create a hook somehow with some shells and whatnot. But I would say fire starter, definitely fishing line, and a machete.
All right.
You know, for me, it taught me so much when I first came here in particular, just how to be, and I always say this, just how to be a first place person and how to create a first place culture. And I learned that from Steve Tapmeyer, who, you know, for me, taught me all those different things about consistency, accountability, how to be intense, how to compete at a high level, all those different things that allow you to be first place. Had I not gone through what I went through, you know, whether it was early on I didn't get to play as much as I wanted to, and so I had to learn how to be a great teammate, or you know, winning the amount of games that we won, or graduating with a finance degree and then coming back and wanting to be a coach and paying my own way. Had I not learned all those different things while being here, I wouldn't be half of the person that I feel like I am right now. And so, you know, those 2 years in particular were probably the 2 years that I played here, were probably 2 of the tougher years that I've had, just because you kind of had to check your ego, and that's hard to do. But it taught me more than probably close to any 2 years that I've been alive.